They called it Atlantis. A name whispered in hushed tones, a legend that echoes through the ages. A name that, for millennia, has been synonymous with paradise lost. A shimmering dream of a civilization so advanced, so enlightened, that its memory continues to ignite the imaginations of dreamers and scholars alike. But paradise was only part of the story. The truth of Atlantis is far more complex, far more nuanced, and far more tragic. I was there in its golden age, when its spires kissed the sky and its power stretched across the seas. I walked its vibrant streets, witnessed its dazzling innovations, felt the pulse of its extraordinary heart, and ultimately, I witnessed its devastating fall. Forget what you think you know. The stories, the myths, the romanticized tales passed down through generations. They barely scratched the surface of the reality that was Atlantis. Atlantis wasn't just a city, it was a marvel, a beacon of innovation and artistry, a civilization so advanced, it makes our modern world, with all its technological wonders, look like the Stone Age. Imagine a city where knowledge wasn't confined to dusty scrolls locked away in temples but was woven into the very fabric of everyday life. Imagine technology so sophisticated, it harnessed the power of nature itself, bending it to our will, not through brute force but through understanding and harmony. Imagine art so sublime, it captured the very essence of beauty and emotion, expressing the deepest longings and aspirations of the human spirit. This was Atlantis. I saw its wonders with my own eyes, crystal towers that harnessed the very energy of the earth, drawing power from the planet's core and distributing it throughout the city. These weren't just buildings. They were conduits of power, humming with a subtle energy that invigorated the city and fueled our incredible machines. They pulsed with a life of their own, connecting the Atlanteans to the very heartbeat of their world. Ships that sailed faster than any wind, propelled not by mere sails but by ingenious mechanisms that harnessed the power of the waves and the currents. They could cross vast oceans in a matter of days, connecting us to distant lands and cultures, fostering trade and exchange of ideas. We were not isolated, we were a hub of knowledge and innovation, drawing inspiration and resources from across the known world. And the gardens, the gardens of Atlantis. They bloomed with impossible colors, with plants that shimmered and glowed, bearing fruit that tasted like sunshine and nectar. We had mastered the art of horticulture, creating hybrids that defied nature's limitations. We could control the climate within our gardens, creating microclimates that allowed us to cultivate exotic plants from every corner of the world. Water flowed through intricate channels, nourishing the plants and creating a symphony of sound and light. These gardens weren't just places of beauty, they were places of contemplation, of learning, of connection with the natural world. We were masters of the elements, weavers of metal, dreamers who turned visions into reality. Our artisans crafted objects of breathtaking beauty, from delicate jewelry that shimmered with captured starlight to monumental sculptures that seemed to breathe with life. Our architects designed buildings that defied gravity, structures of soaring elegance and intricate detail, adorned with mosaics that told stories of our history and our beliefs. Our scientists unlocked the secrets of the universe, delving into the mysteries of mathematics, astronomy, and medicine. They mapped the stars, charted the movements of the planets, and developed treatments for diseases that baffled other civilizations. But our brilliance was also our downfall. It blinded us to the creeping darkness that was slowly consuming our souls. We became complacent, arrogant, believing that our prosperity was assured, that our power was unassailable, that our knowledge was absolute. We forgot the ancient wisdom that had guided our ancestors, the understanding that true strength lies not just in technological prowess but in balance, in harmony with nature, and in respect for the divine. We began to believe that we were masters of our own destiny, forgetting that we were but stewards of the gifts we had been given. The whispers started subtly, almost imperceptibly. Dissent among the priests who warned of divine displeasure, citing ancient prophecies and interpreting natural phenomena as omens of impending doom. Unease among the people who felt a growing sense of unease, a premonition of impending disaster, a feeling that something was fundamentally wrong. But these whispers were drowned out by the clamor of progress, by the intoxicating allure of power, by the seductive promise of endless prosperity. We were so focused on our achievements, on our innovations, that we failed to see the warning signs, the cracks in the foundation of our seemingly perfect world. I was there, a witness to this growing discord, a voice crying out in the wilderness. I saw the hubris in the eyes of our rulers, the arrogance that clouded their judgment, the insatiable hunger for more land, more resources, more power. I pleaded with them, warned them of the impending catastrophe, reminding them of the ancient pacts we had made with the gods, the importance of humility and balance. But my words fell on deaf ears. They called me a prophet of doom, a fearmonger, a relic of a bygone era. They were blind to the storm gathering on the horizon, a storm of their own making, a storm that would ultimately consume them all. Atlantis, in its golden age, was a symphony of innovation and beauty, a testament to the boundless potential of human ingenuity. But it was also a society teetering on the precipice, blinded by its own brilliance, deafened by its own self-congratulatory applause, consumed by its own hubris. The seeds of its destruction were sown not in some external force, but within the very heart of its own success. And those seeds were about to sprout, bringing forth a harvest of devastation and despair. Our prosperity, our ingenuity, our very existence, it wasn't solely our own doing. We, the Atlanteans, knew that. We understood that our gifts, our remarkable advancements that had propelled us to the pinnacle of civilization, were bestowed upon us by the grace of the gods. Poseidon, the mighty ruler of the seas, the earth-shaker, the storm-bringer, the patron of our island nation. He was our protector, our benefactor, the source of our strength, the very foundation upon which Atlantis was built. But Poseidon was not alone. The pantheon of gods and goddesses watched over us, each deity presiding over a different aspect of our lives, each playing a vital role in the delicate balance of our world. Demeter, the goddess of the harvest, blessed our fields with unimaginable abundance, ensuring that our granaries were always full. Athena, the goddess of wisdom and strategy, guided our inventors and our strategists, inspiring them with brilliant ideas and granting them the foresight to anticipate challenges. Hephaestus, the god of the forge, inspired our artisans and our craftsmen, filling their minds with visions of beauty and innovation. We built magnificent temples in their honor, structures of breathtaking beauty and grandeur, adorned with gold, silver, and precious stones that shimmered in the sunlight. We offered sacrifices not out of fear but out of deep gratitude, acknowledging the divine hand in our extraordinary fortunes, recognizing that our achievements were not solely the product of our own efforts. Atlantis flourished under the watchful eyes of the gods. Our land was fertile, yielding harvests beyond measure. Our mines were rich with resources, gold, silver, copper, and rare minerals that fueled our technological advancements. Our seas teemed with fish, providing sustenance for our people and allowing our fishermen to venture further and further afield, discovering new lands and establishing trade routes with distant civilizations. We were blessed with a climate that was mild and temperate, allowing us to cultivate crops year-round, ensuring a constant supply of food for our growing population. Our prosperity was the envy of the world, a beacon of light in a world still shrouded in darkness. But with prosperity, as it so often does, came complacency. We grew arrogant, believing that our good fortune was a testament to our own inherent superiority, forgetting that it was a gift, a favor granted by the divine, a responsibility to be cherished and nurtured. The whispers started subtly, at first barely audible above the din of our bustling cities, the hum of our incredible machines, the self-congratulatory pronouncements of our rulers. Some priests, those who dedicated their lives to the study of the ancient texts, who delved into the wisdom of our ancestors, warned that the gods were not to be taken for granted. They spoke of the dangers of hubris, of the importance of humility, of the need to remain mindful of our place in the cosmic order, of the delicate balance between human achievement and divine grace. The gods, they cautioned, their voices grave and solemn, are not to be trifled with. They bestow their blessings upon those who are worthy, those who are humble, those who are grateful. But they can also withdraw their favor in an instant, turning their benevolence into wrath. Pride goes before a fall, and a haughty spirit before destruction. We must not forget the lessons of the past, the stories of civilizations that rose to great heights only to be brought crashing down by their own arrogance. But their warnings, though delivered with sincerity and conviction, were largely ignored. The rulers of Atlantis, intoxicated by their power and their wealth, their minds clouded by self-importance, dismissed these concerns as the ramblings of old men, clinging to outdated superstitions, failing to recognize the wisdom embedded within these ancient teachings. They preferred to believe that Atlantis was destined for greatness, that our prosperity was assured, that we were, in effect, untouchable, beyond the reach of divine judgment. These are mere prophecies, old wives' tales meant to frighten children and keep the populace in line. We are Atlanteans. We have mastered the forces of nature, unlocked the secrets of the universe, harnessed the very power of the earth. We are no longer beholden to the whims of the gods. Our destiny is in our own hands. We are the masters of our own fate. The seeds of arrogance, once sown, began to sprout, their roots spreading deep into the fertile ground of Atlantean society, poisoning the very heart of our civilization. The whispers of dissent grew louder, more insistent, echoing through the streets, the marketplaces, the very halls of power. The common people, though still enjoying the fruits of Atlantis's prosperity, though benefiting from the technological advancements that made their lives easier, felt a growing unease, a sense that something was fundamentally wrong, a premonition of impending doom. They saw the extravagance of the rulers, their lavish lifestyles, their opulent palaces, their disregard for the plight of the less fortunate, their indifference to the growing social inequality. They heard the whispers of corruption, of officials enriching themselves at the expense of the people, of justice being perverted for the benefit of the powerful, of the ancient laws being twisted to serve the whims of the ruling class. I, myself, witnessed this growing disparity, this widening chasm between the rich and the poor, between the powerful and the powerless. I saw the arrogance of the rulers, their contempt for the common people, their insatiable thirst for more wealth, more land, more power, more influence. I saw how they twisted the teachings of our ancestors, manipulating the ancient laws and traditions to justify their greed and consolidate their power. I tried to speak out, to warn them of the dangers of their course, to remind them of the values that had made Atlantis great: justice, compassion, humility. But my voice was lost in the cacophony of self-congratulatory pronouncements and triumphalist rhetoric, drowned out by the cheers of sycophants and the murmurs of those too afraid to speak their minds. Great rulers of Atlantis, I implore you, heed the warnings of the priests, listen to the concerns of the people. Our prosperity is a gift, not a right. We must remain humble, we must remain grateful, we must remain mindful of our responsibilities. The gods are watching, and they will not tolerate hubris, they will not condone injustice, they will not forgive arrogance. We are walking a dangerous path, a path that leads to ruin, a path that will ultimately bring about our downfall. Enough of your doom and gloom, old fool. You are a relic of a bygone era, clinging to outdated beliefs, blinded by superstition. We are Atlanteans. We are masters of our own destiny. We fear no one, not even the gods. Our achievements speak for themselves. We have built a civilization that is unparalleled in its brilliance, its power, its grandeur. We are the pinnacle of human achievement. Who are you to question our path, to sow seeds of doubt and fear amongst the people? Guards, remove this troublesome old man. You may silence my voice, Theron, but you cannot silence the truth. The gods will not be mocked. The scales of justice will not be forever unbalanced. The seeds you sow today will bear a bitter harvest tomorrow. Remember this, rulers of Atlantis: pride goes before a fall. And so, Atlantis continued its headlong rush towards its destiny, its ears deaf to the whispers of warning, its eyes blind to the gathering storm, its heart hardened by arrogance and greed. The gods, they do not interfere lightly in the affairs of mortals. They offer guidance, they offer warnings, they offer opportunities for redemption. But ultimately they allow us to choose our own path, to exercise our free will, to shape our own destiny. And Atlantis had chosen its path, a path paved with hubris, a path destined for destruction. The gift of the gods, once a blessing, a source of joy and gratitude, was now becoming a curse, a symbol of our arrogance, a testament to our hubris. The very prosperity that had elevated Atlantis to such dizzying heights was now fueling its descent into darkness, its wealth and power corrupting its soul, its brilliance blinding it to the consequences of its actions. The seeds of hubris, planted in fertile ground, nurtured by greed and ambition, were about to bear their bitter fruit, a harvest of devastation and despair that would engulf Atlantis and erase it from the face of the earth. The whispers of the gods, once gentle reminders, were now growing into a roar of divine displeasure. The earth trembled, the seas churned, and the heavens themselves seemed to weep for the impending doom of Atlantis. The age of glory was coming to an end. The age of reckoning was about to begin. Power. It is a seductive elixir, intoxicating those who wield it, blinding them to its dangers, corrupting even the purest souls. Atlantis, once a beacon of harmony and balance, was now succumbing to the insidious allure of power, its heart growing cold, its vision clouded by ambition and greed. The rulers of Atlantis, once wise and benevolent, were now consumed by a hunger for more land, more resources, more influence, more control. They had tasted power, and they craved it with an insatiable thirst. To Atlantis, the jewel of the world, the pinnacle of civilization, the master of its own destiny, we have conquered the seas, harnessed the elements, and unlocked the secrets of the universe. What is there left to achieve? The answer, my friends, is simple: more. More land, more resources, more power. We shall extend our reach to the farthest corners of the world, bringing our enlightenment, our civilization, to those who dwell in darkness. We shall build an empire that will last for millennia, an empire that will be remembered throughout eternity. The whispers of dissent, once confined to the temples and the streets, now began to infiltrate the very halls of power. Some council members, though wary of Theron's ambition, were seduced by the promise of wealth and influence. Others, though troubled by the growing corruption and injustice, were too afraid to speak out, fearing Theron's wrath. Only a few brave souls dared to challenge Theron's vision, to remind him of the ancient values that had made Atlantis great. Theron, I understand your desire for greatness, your ambition to leave your mark on the world. But I fear you are leading us down a dangerous path, a path that will ultimately lead to our ruin. We have been blessed with prosperity, with knowledge, with power. But these are gifts, not rights. We have a responsibility to use them wisely, to share them with others, to promote peace and harmony, not conquest and domination. The gods have favored us, but their favor is not unconditional. We must not forget the lessons of the past, the stories of civilizations that were destroyed by their own hubris. Corelia, your concerns are misplaced. You are a woman of peace, a dreamer, an idealist. But the world does not respond to idealism. It responds to strength, to power, to determination. We have a duty to share our enlightenment with the world, to bring civilization to those who dwell in darkness. And if that requires force, then so be it. We are Atlanteans. We are not afraid to use our power to achieve our goals. And so, the shadow of greed began to spread across Atlantis, casting a pall over its once vibrant spirit. The rulers, blinded by their ambition, embarked on a campaign of conquest, sending their armies to conquer neighboring lands, to seize their resources, to enslave their people. The whispers of dissent turned into cries of outrage as the common people witnessed the atrocities committed in the name of Atlantean expansion. The wealth of the conquered nations flowed into Atlantis, filling the coffers of the rulers, fueling their extravagance and widening the gap between the rich and the poor. The common people, though still enjoying the benefits of Atlantean technology, grew increasingly disillusioned, their faith in their rulers shaken, their sense of justice outraged. They saw the corruption, the injustice, the abuse of power, and they knew that something was fundamentally wrong. I myself witnessed the growing darkness, the creeping decay that was eating away at the soul of Atlantis. I saw the arrogance of the rulers, their indifference to the suffering of others, their insatiable hunger for power. I saw the fear in the eyes of the common people, their anger, their despair. I tried to speak out, to warn the rulers, to reason with the people, but my voice was drowned out by the clamor of war, the cries of the oppressed, the whispers of fear. People of Atlantis, listen to me. We are losing our way. We are sacrificing our values, our humanity, on the altar of greed and ambition. We are destroying ourselves from within. We must stop this madness, we must return to the path of righteousness, we must remember who we are. But his words were lost in the wind, carried away by the storm that was gathering over Atlantis. The gods, they had watched, they had waited, they had offered warnings. But their patience was wearing thin. The scales of justice were unbalanced, and the time for reckoning was fast approaching. Atlantis, the jewel of the world, the pinnacle of civilization, was now teetering on the brink of destruction, its foundations weakened by greed, its spirit corrupted by power, its heart consumed by darkness. The shadow of greed had cast a long shadow over Atlantis, a shadow that threatened to engulf it entirely. The gods, they do not forget. They watch, they observe, they judge. They offer guidance, they extend opportunities for redemption, but their patience is not infinite. Atlantis, in its arrogance, in its greed, in its relentless pursuit of power, had crossed a line. It had forgotten the ancient pact, the sacred balance between humanity and divinity, between ambition and humility. The whispers of warning had turned into shouts of condemnation, but Atlantis, blinded by its hubris, remained deaf to the divine pronouncements. The signs are clear. The heavens themselves are weeping for Atlantis. The earth trembles in anticipation of the divine judgment. The sea, once our protector, now stirs with anger. We have angered the gods, and their wrath will be terrible. The earth began to tremble subtly at first, almost imperceptibly. A tremor here, a ripple there, dismissed by many as mere natural occurrences. But the tremors grew stronger, more frequent, shaking the very foundations of Atlantis. Cracks appeared in the magnificent buildings, fissures opened in the earth, and the sea began to churn restlessly. The rulers of Atlantis, still clinging to their delusions of grandeur, dismissed these warnings as the anxieties of a fearful populace. They convened a council meeting not to address the growing crisis, but to reaffirm their plans for further expansion, for greater conquest. These tremors are nothing. Mere tremors. The earth groans beneath our feet, acknowledging our power, our dominion. Let the weak-hearted tremble. We, the Atlanteans, are not afraid. We shall continue our glorious march towards empire, and no force, earthly or divine, will stand in our way. But the gods were not mocked. Their patience had run out. The tremors intensified, growing into violent earthquakes that shook Atlantis to its core. Buildings crumbled, towers collapsed, and the ground opened, swallowing entire sections of the city. The sea, once a source of sustenance and trade, now rose up in fury, its waves growing into monstrous tsunamis that crashed against the shores of Atlantis, engulfing the city in their watery embrace. The crystal towers, once symbols of Atlantean ingenuity, shattered like glass, their power conduits disrupted, sending surges of energy through the city, causing further chaos and destruction. The people of Atlantis, once so proud, so confident, were now reduced to terrified creatures, running for their lives, their cries for help lost in the roar of the earthquakes, the crashing of the waves, the howling of the wind. I myself witnessed this apocalyptic destruction, this divine retribution. I saw the arrogance of the rulers turned into terror, their boasts replaced by cries of despair. I saw the fear in the eyes of the people, their desperate pleas for mercy, their realization that their hubris had brought them to this terrible end. Oh Atlantis, my beloved city, what have we done? We have brought this upon ourselves. Our arrogance has blinded us, our greed has consumed us, our pride has led us to our doom. May the gods have mercy on our souls. But there was no mercy. The gods had offered their mercy, had extended their hands, but Atlantis had turned away, choosing the path of pride, the path of destruction. Now the price of that choice was being paid in full. Atlantis, the jewel of the world, the pinnacle of civilization, was no more. Swallowed by the sea, consumed by the wrath of the gods, erased from the face of the earth as if it had never existed. Only the legends remained, whispered in hushed tones, cautionary tales of hubris and divine retribution, reminders of the delicate balance between human ambition and divine grace. The wrath of the sea had claimed Atlantis, a testament to the power of the gods, a stark reminder of the consequences of human arrogance. The whispers of Atlantis would echo through the ages, a haunting melody of lost grandeur, a chilling symphony of divine justice. Atlantis was gone. Wiped from the face of the earth, swallowed by the sea as if it had never existed. The magnificent city, the pinnacle of civilization, reduced to rubble and dust, resting eternally on the ocean floor. My home, my life, my everything, lost in the blink of an eye. I survived, a solitary witness to the fall of paradise, a living testament to the devastating power of divine wrath. I clung to a piece of wreckage, a splintered fragment of a once proud Atlantean ship, for what seemed like an eternity. The storm raged, the waves crashed, and the sea relentlessly pursued me, as if determined to extinguish the last spark of Atlantean life. But fate, or perhaps the gods themselves, had other plans. I was washed ashore on this desolate beach, battered, bruised and broken, but alive. I wandered for days, weeks, perhaps even months, lost in a haze of grief and disbelief. The memories of Atlantis, the splendor, the beauty, the innovation, the hubris, they haunted me, replaying in my mind like a cruel and relentless torment. I was a ghost, a shadow of my former self, adrift in a world that no longer made sense. Eventually, I stumbled upon a small village, a community of simple folk who lived in harmony with nature, who had not yet been touched by the corrupting influence of power and greed. They took me in, offered me shelter, and nursed me back to health. They listened to my story, the tale of Atlantis, the rise and fall of a magnificent civilization. At first, they were skeptical, dismissing my account as the ramblings of a delirious old man. But as I shared more details, as I described the wonders of Atlantis, the technological marvels, the artistic achievements, the philosophical insights, they began to believe me. These are incredible stories, old man. But they seem impossible. A city that could control the elements, that could sail faster than the wind, that could build structures that touched the sky? It's hard to believe. I understand your skepticism. But I tell you the truth, Atlantis was real. It was a marvel, a testament to human ingenuity. But it was also a tragedy, a cautionary tale of hubris and divine retribution. We forgot our place in the world, we forgot the ancient pact, we forgot the importance of humility and balance. And for that, we paid a terrible price. I spent the rest of my days in that village, sharing the story of Atlantis, warning them of the dangers of pride and greed, reminding them of the importance of living in harmony with nature and respecting the divine. My words were passed down through generations, whispered around campfires, etched into the collective memory of the village. The legend of Atlantis, the story of a lost paradise, began to spread, carried by travelers, merchants, and storytellers. But the world, as it often does, chose to romanticize the story, to embellish it with fantastical elements, to turn it into a myth, a legend, a fairy tale. The true story of Atlantis, the story of its rise and fall, the story of its hubris and its destruction, was lost, buried beneath layers of embellishment and exaggeration. And so, Atlantis became a myth, a legend, a story told to children to frighten them into obedience, a symbol of a lost golden age, a dream of a perfect world. The true lesson of Atlantis, the warning against arrogance and greed, was forgotten, lost in the mists of time. But the echoes of Atlantis remained. They whispered in the wind, they shimmered in the depths of the ocean, they resonated in the hearts of those who dared to dream of a better world. Perhaps one day the world would rediscover Atlantis, not for its riches or its technology, but for the lessons it holds, for the wisdom it imparts. Perhaps one day humanity would learn from the mistakes of Atlantis, would heed the warnings of the past, and would choose a different path, a path of humility, a path of balance, a path of harmony. The search for Atlantis continues, driven by curiosity, by hope, by the enduring belief that somewhere beneath the waves, the truth of Atlantis lies waiting to be rediscovered. Perhaps it is not the physical city that we seek, but the lessons it holds, the wisdom it imparts. Perhaps the true treasure of Atlantis is not gold or jewels, but the knowledge of how to build a better future, a future where humanity lives in harmony with nature and respects the divine. The mystery of Atlantis endures, captivating the imaginations of scientists, historians, and dreamers alike. It is a story that whispers to us across the millennia, reminding us of the fragility of civilization, the importance of humility, and the enduring power of hope. The legacy of Atlantis is not just a story of a lost city. It is a story about ourselves, about our potential for greatness, and about our capacity for self-destruction. It is a story that we must never forget. Atlantis is gone, but its echoes remain. They whisper in the wind, they shimmer in the depths of the ocean, they resonate in the hearts of those who dare to dream. And perhaps, one day those echoes will be heard, and the lessons of Atlantis will finally be learned. The whispers of Atlantis, they haven't faded. They haven't been silenced by the passage of time or the crushing weight of the sea. They persist, echoing through the ages, tantalizing us with glimpses of a lost world, challenging us to unravel the mysteries of a civilization that vanished without a trace. Is Atlantis real? Was it truly a technologically advanced paradise, or merely a myth, a cautionary tale spun from the threads of imagination? The debate rages on, fueling countless expeditions, inspiring countless books and films, igniting the imaginations of millions around the world. Plato's account, in his dialogues Timaeus and Critias, is the cornerstone of the Atlantis legend. He describes a powerful naval empire, a sophisticated civilization that rivaled even ancient Athens in its might and its wisdom. He speaks of its advanced technology, its magnificent architecture, its just and benevolent rulers. But then, in a single day and night of unprecedented fury, Atlantis vanished, swallowed by the sea, leaving behind only whispers and legends. But Plato's account is not the only source. References to a lost continent, a powerful civilization that met a cataclysmic end, can be found in the writings of other ancient cultures, Egyptian, Mayan, even some hints in early Indian texts. These fragmented accounts, though often shrouded in myth and allegory, lend credence to the possibility that Atlantis was not merely a figment of Plato's imagination, but a real place, a civilization that truly existed. The search for Atlantis has become a quest for many, a pursuit of a lost past, a desire to understand the mysteries of our own history. Archaeologists, historians, geologists, and even oceanographers have dedicated their lives to unraveling the enigma of Atlantis. Underwater expeditions have explored the depths of the Atlantic Ocean, searching for any trace of the lost city. Some believe it lies in the Mediterranean, others in the Atlantic, some even propose more outlandish locations like Antarctica or even beyond our planet. The evidence is tantalizing but inconclusive. While some potential underwater structures have been identified, concrete proof of Atlantis remains elusive. No definitive artifacts, no inscriptions, no undeniable evidence has yet been found to conclusively prove the existence of Atlantis. The geological record, however, offers some intriguing clues. Evidence of cataclysmic events, massive volcanic eruptions, devastating tsunamis and significant shifts in sea levels, has been found in various parts of the world, particularly in the Atlantic region. These events, though not directly linked to Atlantis, suggest that the possibility of a large landmass being submerged by a catastrophic event is not entirely far-fetched. But perhaps the most compelling evidence for Atlantis lies not in physical artifacts or geological formations, but in the enduring power of the story itself. The myth of Atlantis resonates with us on a deep, almost primal level. It speaks to our fascination with lost civilizations, our yearning for a golden age, our fear of cataclysmic destruction. It's a story that has been retold and reinterpreted countless times, each generation adding its own spin, its own meaning, its own interpretation. Atlantis has become a symbol, a metaphor, a reflection of our own hopes and fears, our own aspirations and anxieties. It represents the pinnacle of human achievement, but also the fragility of civilization. It embodies the dream of a perfect world, but also the nightmare of its loss. It's a story that reminds us of the importance of humility, the dangers of hubris, and the enduring power of the human spirit. The question of Atlantis's existence may never be definitively answered. The mystery may endure, tantalizing us with its secrets, challenging us to keep searching, keep questioning, keep dreaming. But perhaps the true value of the Atlantis story lies not in proving its historical accuracy, but in the lessons it imparts, the questions it raises, the inspiration it provides. The echoes of Atlantis remain. They whisper in the wind, they shimmer in the depths of the ocean, they resonate in the hearts of those who dare to dream. And perhaps, one day those echoes will be heard, and the lessons of Atlantis will finally be learned. What do you think? Was Atlantis real? Do you believe it lies hidden beneath the waves, waiting to be rediscovered? Or is it simply a myth, a powerful story that has captured our imaginations for millennia? Share your thoughts, your theories, your own interpretations in the comments below. We want to hear from you. If you're fascinated by unsolved mysteries, intrigued by lost civilizations, and eager to explore the hidden corners of history, then subscribe to our channel. We delve into the most captivating historical enigmas, bringing you the latest research, the most compelling evidence, and the most thought-provoking insights. Join our community of history enthusiasts, and together we can unravel the secrets of the past and explore the possibilities of the future. Don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends. Let's keep the whispers of Atlantis alive. The echoes remain. Will you listen?